Hello, my name is Jerry Watkins, and I am a business mindset coach. And first of all, I want to tell you how excited I am to be a part of this program because being a businessman for over 40 years, I love speaking and working with business owners. Now, the information I'm going to share with you today is from a subject I call 7 money-making secrets. But prior to getting into that information, I want to ask you a question. Have you ever been obsessed? I mean, really obsessed with getting something that you wanted. I mean, you woke up that morning thinking about it, you went to bed thinking about it, and you got that thing. Let me ask you this. Would you be interested if I could help you have that level of obsession towards making the financial goals you have this year? Would that be something you would be interested in? Excellent. Now imagine you went into business for a certain lifestyle, for a certain income. If I could help you with these 7 money-making secrets to achieve that, would you be interested in that? Excellent. But most importantly, I know most of us had goals set for 2020, and then COVID showed up. And some people have rearranged their goals. But if I could help you to get back on track and to hear yourself on that New Year's Eve party, saying to yourself, I did it in spite of COVID, would that be something you'd be interested in? Well, let's do this. These 7 money-making secrets are very effective, but obviously, like everything else in your life, only to the degree you apply them. So what I want you to do is, as you listen in, think about the goals you set in 2019. And maybe you need to reset. And if you need to reset, when you finish this information today, this seminar, I want you to go home and think about the information that I'm sharing with you, how you might want to reset how you've planned your goals. The first money-making secret is this. Excellent. Set goals from your heart, not from your head. Set your goals from your heart. The goals that you set in 2019, I want you to consider that you set them from your head or from your heart. See, you have to ask yourself, do you love this goal? I remember I was 17 going into the military. And I did that because out of high school, I wasn't sure what to do. Was it college? One week it was college, the next week it was the military. The next week, I didn't know what I'd want to do. I was driving my mother crazy. So I went into the military, spent 4 years. But after that, I still didn't know what I wanted to do, ironically. So I had to do another 4 years. And then I had to make a very important decision because it was a matter of if I was going to stay in the military or get out. And this is where I learned to apply this lesson. I first started setting my next career path from my head. I started thinking, well, people always will be sick. People always have to go to the hospital. I should maybe become a physician assistant. They make pretty good money, not a lot of schooling. But that was in my head. That was the logical part of myself. This was my memory, the things that I knew about. But ironically, I flashed back to when I was 12 and I first had started cutting hair. And during that time, I always dreamed about maybe owning a hair salon, maybe cutting hair. And fast forward 40 years later, I chose the goal from my heart. 10 salons later, millions of dollars later, and 4 sons that do hair today. And it's proved to be the right goal that I made. See what happens when you set goals from your head, you can only rely on your memory. You can only rely on what you already know. But when you set goals from your heart, you have the opportunity to use your imagination and there are no limits. And so the first rule to setting the money-making goal this year for 2020, or to revisit the one you set in 2019, make sure you set it from your heart, not your head. The second rule to making money, the second secret, is this: set goals that inspire you, not goals that you think you can make. In fact, this goal is closely related to the secret number one. See, when you set goals that inspire you, they'll make you get up in the morning at 3, at 4. They'll make you stay on your business 7 days a week, right? I remember I just asked a gentleman, a business partner that I work with, is he here on Mondays? He says, I'm here 7 days a week. Setting goals that inspire you is so important. And they're important because of this reason. See, no matter what change you're going to make in life, what goals you're going to have, they're going to require pain. We've all heard no pain, no gain. Most people relate that simply to their physical workout. That applies to all of life. No pain, no gain. And what tends to happen is the minute you set a goal and the minute the pain shows up, if the gain isn't greater than the pain, you just give up. You say, I'm doing $50,000 this year. They say do 10% more, you're going to do 55. When the pain shows up, you simply feel it's not worth it. So you have to set a goal that will make the hair on your arms stand up. Something that'll get you up every morning. Something that'll inspire you to keep going when the going gets tough. So again, the second money-making secret is to set goals that inspire you, not goals that you think you can make. The third money-making secret is to focus on what you want. In fact, this is one of the secrets to life. Focus only on what you want. But what I want to bring clear to you today is don't worry about how you're going to get it. Most people get this mixed up. And it's like taking a vacation or planning a vacation and how you're going to get there before you know the destination. You need to know what it is you want before you worry about how you're going to get it. Because worrying about how you're going to get it can be the stumbling block that keeps you from getting it. I remember 20 years ago, I built a home that at the time we considered my dream home. It was 6,000 square feet, 2 levels, on a mountainside, beautiful home. Well, someone talked me into maybe being an owner builder, which I knew nothing about. But I thought, it does sound interesting, could save a lot of money, was inspiring. And so I started looking into what it would take to be an owner builder. I went to the bookstore, found some different books, found a fabulous book called Owner Builder, Mark Smith. As I read into the book, I became confident that maybe I could be an owner builder. I still had no idea what an owner builder did. So I found an architect. She was me being a hairdresser, being a salon owner, I like modern, contemporary things. So she designed a nice contemporary home for me, very modern, elevator, the works. Well, after she finished the blueprints, it dawned on me this was going to be easy to do. See, when you actually focus on what you want with such clarity as an architect would do with building a home, to where you know the details, how many rooms, what floors, what the fabrics are going to look like, how much money, what's your inspiration. When you focus with detail, it's almost like the how just shows up. You don't have to worry about how, you have to worry more about what. In fact, I always like to remind people, when Bill Gates did the computer, do you think he knew how to build a computer? He had no idea how to build a computer. He had a plan, But he didn't know how to build a computer until after he had built the computer. It's dishonest to think that you know how to do something before it's done. In fact, I always like to remind people, when you put your arm out like this, do you know how you did that? Or do you know how the lights came on in the room? No, we don't have to know how many things. We have to know what, and the how will show up on its own. So the third step, the third secret to making money is learning to focus on what you want and not so much how to get it. The fourth secret to making money goes like this. Fall in love with the goal, not the plan. Fall in love with the goal, not the plan. Now that might sound a little counterintuitive because, Jerry, you're asking me to think big, set the goals from my heart. You're asking me to be inspired and to focus on what I want. But you're telling me not to worry about how I get it. This is the deal. What I'm actually asking you to do is to fall in love with the goal. Many people don't understand that the plan may have to change many times, but the goal should never change. I had a son that was playing football for Phoenix Christian, and the second year they lost their coach. Now the coach that they lost had a program that had been winning for years at Phoenix Christian. So we all assumed that once they lost this particular coach, they would have to rebuild and regroup with a winning legacy. Well, what happened was interesting. The first game that they played at halftime, they were clearly losing. And we thought that all that we imagined had come true. But after halftime, the team that came out looked like a different team. And they went on to convincingly win that game. And the Phoenix newspaper said, Phoenix Christian wins their opening season with a fluke of a game. And we thought, how interesting. The second game, they were clearly losing. But at halftime, when they came back, they went on to win that game convincingly. And you can probably imagine that the second game or the third game went the same. Every game for that season, they were clearly losing at halftime, but by second half, they went on to be convincingly winners at every game. In fact, they went undefeated that season. And Phoenix Christian said they had a fluke of a season. But the interesting thing that we came to realize about the new coaching staff is they knew how to change their plan, not their goal. Their goal was to have a winning season, to keep the program strong. And they would simply, at halftime, they would reevaluate their plan. They would reevaluate what was going on with the other team, and they came out every game with a winning plan. And so for us as business owners, we have to be careful with that. Because sometimes we set a goal for 10, 15% increase. And if it's not happening, we change the goal. And if you're going to really prosper, you have to learn to change the plan, not the goal. Even an airplane between New York and LA is off course 90% of the time. But it just reevaluates itself, corrects itself. So we can't expect to get to where we're going straight away. There's going to be some readjustments that are made along the way. So the fourth money-making secret is to fall in love with the goal, not the plan. Now, the fifth money-making secret is one of my favorites, because this is where many people in life, not just business owners, get tripped up. We ask ourselves if we're worthy of the goal. What I'm suggesting today is don't ask yourself if you're worthy of the goal. Ask, is the goal worthy of you? See, you got your goal. It's a big goal. You're inspired. You're focused on it. You're adjusting your plan wherever necessary. But where many people get distracted is near the end. And we start asking ourselves, are we enough? You know that question, are you good enough? Are you smart enough? Are you talented enough? And I'm suggesting to you not to ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, is the goal worthy of you? Because you're going to need to give all of your talent, all of your time, all of your energy to this goal. See, it's like this. Most people focus on what they don't have when it comes to moving forward. And I found the key is to focus on what you do have. And you are good enough, or you wouldn't even be in the game, is what I find. You don't even get to enter the game if you're not good enough. So the fifth money-making secret is to focus on what you want. I think the person who taught me this the best was my son, Adam. You know, in high school, I was the average, maybe below average student in my performance anyway. And I would never consider running for class president. But when Adam went to the 9th grade, he informed me one day, Dad, I'm going to run for class president. Now, I wasn't running, but that put fear in me because I was reflecting back on my high school days. And I thought, what if you lose? And he just smiled and he says, Daddy, people like me. And he suggested that I worry about the person he was running against. And he was correct. He won that year, and every year he was a class president. And I was in awe because, see, there's a quote that I came across a few years ago that states it like this: you'll never outperform the image you hold of yourself. And that hit me right in the gut. See, as a business owner, if you don't see yourself as a millionaire, you won't even plan a business that can make $1 million. If you don't see yourself as someone that can make $500,000 a year, you won't even consider it. And so you'll never see yourself beyond the image you hold of yourself. So don't ask if you're worthy of the goal. Ask, is the goal worthy of you? Do you have a good enough goal to drive you? Now, the sixth money-making secret is the purpose of the goal is not to have the goal. That may sound a little contrary, but the purpose of the goal is not to have the goal. This is where most people blow it. The purpose of the goal is to become the person who can have the goal. So you don't get to go to the next level, you have to grow to the next level. In fact, James Allen, and As a Man Thinketh, says it this way: you don't get what you want, you get who you are. And when I first heard that, besides being bad English, it didn't make any sense to me. You don't get what you want. But that was clear because most of us want much. You get who you are. I say you have to grow to the next level. See, the goal is there to cause you to grow to the next level. And I learned this in my first salon, Regent Street on Oak Plaza, Scottsdale. Me and my two partners decided we were ready to go to the next level. And we took off one day, went down to Fashion Square Mall, and we found a space there that used to be a salon space. And so, as you can imagine, we became all excited and we had our faces pressed against the glass trying to see the entire space and what would it be like to have our salon in that space. And as we looked in that space, our imaginations started running. We were working from our hearts. Our imaginations, we were fantasizing about what it would be like until I went into my head. And I asked that question that you have to be careful asking. I looked at my partners, I said, hold up a minute. I said, how much do you think this cost? And we all looked at each other and almost simultaneously said, you don't even want to know. And we walked away with our tails between our legs right back down to Oak Plaza for the next 5 years, too afraid to even ask what the price was. We didn't see ourselves as salon owners that could be in a world-class mall. And we stayed there for 5 years until we became the owners that could be there. In fact, over those 5 years, nothing changed. The rent was the same, the staff, we had the same staff. The only thing changed is we changed. We grew and became to be aware that we could be in Fashion Square Mall. We moved into Fashion Square Mall that year, and ironically, within the next 2 years, we had 2 salons in Fashion Square Mall. And so it's not about getting the goal. Most people don't understand, and that's the purpose of the day's workshops, is you got to grow to the next level. You don't just get to go to the next level. And that's what this is all about. Now I promised you 7 secrets, and I do have 7 secrets, but the next secret takes about 30 to 45 minutes. And I want to do something very interesting for you, something very powerful for you. There's a technique, a therapy that I use called putting your goal into your future. And I want to share that with you over a Zoom call and take you through that process. That the goal you had in 1920 or 2019, some of us want to go back to better days, right? 2019, or the goal that you would like to finish off with 2020. I want to show you how to set that goal inside of your nervous system, inside of your unconscious mind, inside of your future at a level that at the end of that call, you will leave with every confidence that you got that goal. It's just a matter of days. It's just a matter of months, depending on how large, maybe a matter of years. But you have that goal at the end of this session. So I want to thank you for your time. And as I said earlier, make sure you sit down and meditate not only on what I've shared with you today, but with all the speakers, because these are life-changing opportunities. And if you're willing to go to the next level, you can go there if you're willing to grow to the next level. Thank you.